Welcome to Discussions in the Afterlife. I'm Colleen.
I'm Jim. Today, my sister and I, we're going to give you some basic information about the afterlife.
Yeah, we get this information by conducting what we call studies in our homes.
And a study, it consists of us taking inexpensive recorders, audio recorders, spreading them around strategic locations around the house, asking questions, pausing to let an answer find a recorder, repeat, 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 do it over and over. 4 or 5 questions, and that's it. We sit and we listen to the answers. And it's not always the answers that are the curious part. It's the conversations that we hear in the afterlife. These recorders capture people talking to each other.
Right, we glean a lot of information from those side conversations.
Yes,
and
we
then
do.
that leads us to new questions in the next study.
Right.
So we're all part of a group. You know, we're surrounded by our group members, which are family, relatives, good, close friends, and they kind of come and go through our houses as if you're visiting in, as a human form. You know, I go to visit my mom. We all kind of visit each other and spend time. And that's how they're still conducting themselves. They're coming through your house and hanging out. And so you're never really alone. You always have...
Exactly. You always have people around, and the vast majority of them are family. Like Colleen and I belong to the Finnegan group. That's my last name. It was Colleen's, what's that called? Maiden name?
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that word though. But the Finnegans, but we're talking great grandfathers hanging out, great uncles, and distant, like third cousins. These people are in and out of our lives, albeit invisible.
Right, which leads us into the thought of reincarnation.
Right. You were told, because you asked the question years ago, that did the two of us come back as brother and sister, or did we ever come back as a married couple at one point? And we were told that we often come back as brother and sister. And often, that's the key word. How many times have we come back to have it called often? So this has been going on for a long time, ladies and gentlemen. Like for instance, I asked about my last time here, my last life as a human, and I was told that I was a welder in Philly, and I died in 1915. And they're real insistent on 1915.
Several people said that. It wasn't like one comment. It
Right.
was across different recorders throughout the house.
Right. And we had asked about your last life expression, and we were told that you raised a large family and just outside of Philadelphia, and you died in 1947.
That's right.
So that was probably not a situation where we were brother and sister. I mean, perhaps we belong to the Finnegan family, of course, but we might not have bumped into each other a whole lot last time.
Right. You could have been a distant somebody to me, and maybe I only saw you once in a while at a funeral or a wedding. You know how that goes.
Right. And also, while we were asking about you, it turns out you lived one of your lives in a town called Doolin in Donegal, Ireland, County Donegal. And we specifically, you were Elizabeth at that time.
Elizabeth Bolton.
Bolton or Botine, we couldn't really settle on the last name. But yeah, you lived there and I did not. So perhaps we were brother and sister, but I skedaddled. I got out of there. But so yeah, the reincarnation is, it's a real curious thing, but there's a reason for it.
Right. And, you know, people may ask, why would we come back? You know, what's the point in coming back in a human form? And what we've learned by asking that question in lots of studies, it helps us get ahead. And we're always like, well, what does it mean to get ahead?
Yeah, and they won't tell us.
We haven't really gotten a clear answer at all. but like being human can lead you to be a better person, right? So the more you do something, the better you get at it. And it's almost like going to college. It's an education to be here. In a human form, it's like a faster, more concentrated type of education. So, you know, it's a place for learning. And then some people come back to help other people learn, you know, kind of as a teacher. And other people are more like students because they haven't been here that many times and they need to learn how to be a better person.
You know, and one thought on that, Colleen, is people that are knuckleheads. You know, we've all met that person somewhere. Like, you just wonder, why did they say that, or why did they do that? Some people come back to prove to their group members over and over that they're idiots. You know,
That's true. We've all
we've all met them. You know, but the whole point is to get your group ahead, whatever group you belong to. For instance, Colleen's two children, one belongs to the Finnegan group, our group, and one belongs to your husband's group. You know, so, you know, it's not super cut and dry. You know, you belong to one group or the other, and you're helping one group or the other when you come back, because you're learning and you're trying to get ahead. It's our Finnegan group is a very small group. We've been told it's a very small group of people, and frankly, the amount of relatives still alive is nil. There's very few of us left.
That's
on the
true.
planet. Most of them have died
They're
off.
all on the other side waiting for us to get back to regroup and decide who's coming back as a human. Because we've been told that's how it works.
But the one interesting thing is that all the surnames, most of the surnames that we hear during these studies are Irish. Our Irish family, the Finnegans of Irish descent, are surrounded by other families of Irish descent. So the diversity is kind of lacking. But as it turns out, these groups, we're all helping each other to get ahead. Our grandfather is, he's a leader of our group. It kind of skips a generation, it seems. His father was in trouble with the group, and our father was in trouble with the group.
That's true. They were just people that weren't making great choices and needed a lot more learning time, and they were a little resistant to that.
Yes,
you know?
they were, and it cost the Finnegan group. There's a lot of our distant ancient relatives are pretty unhappy in the afterlife about some of these people. So I don't know. They won't tell us too much about that, but they do bash some of the other people in the afterlife for that.
They do, and you know, if you need a visual, I always think about this as like a Mandela. So we're in a group, and then, you know, I met my husband and married him, and he's in a group, so we overlap. And then, you know, it just builds out from there. So the Mandela effect sometimes helped me when we first start learning about this. It was easier to think about it that way.
Absolutely. But we're busy people in our lives and in the afterlife. Yeah, you're going to get a little bit of a break when you first pass over, but you're going to have a job. You have responsibilities, and that's all part of helping the group.
That's right. And you know, what we do in a study, we're not just asking questions, but we learn so much from their side conversations. And just, we use the word redo because we heard it from them. You know, there's language that we use that we didn't make that language up. We caught video or audio from the people that are invisible.
Yeah.
And then we use their language hoping that would sauce out or tease out better information.
And sometimes it does.
Yeah, and sometimes it doesn't.
Sometimes it doesn't. Ladies and gentlemen, please subscribe. We need all the help we can get. We're not even a year old. We need subscribers, and we need you to share this, thumbs up, all that good stuff. I appreciate it, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.